Okay, this will be the first video for our semester review, and this is what we're calling CBA 2. This is your semester exam review. So let's start in. Which set of ordered pairs represents y as a function of x? So as we go through and look at the ordered pairs, we're looking for x values that repeat. In choice A, there are no x values that repeat, so this is a function. This has a -1 x value that repeats, so this is not a function. This one has both 3 and -4 repeating, so it's not a function. And in the last one, it's the 2 that repeats, so it's not a function. In choice A, we have unique x values, no x value repeats, so this is a function. For problem number 2, what we need to do is change this whole number 3 and the whole number 12 into fractions that have 3 as a denominator. So the whole number 3 is the same as 9 over 3, and 12 would become 36 over 3. So now if we look, we have 3 always in the bottom as a denominator. So it's either A or it's C, because these have a 6 in the denominator. So is this top number here 2n or n squared? This is the first term. Is 2 times 1, 1? No. This is the second term. Is 2 times 2, 4? Yes. This is the third term. Is 2 times 3, 9? No. So let's look at n squared. 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. The fourth term, 4 squared, is 16, and so on and so on. So what we have is n squared over 3. For problem number 3, we have these two functions. We notice that they have the same slope, because they both have a slope of -4, but they have different y-intercepts. So now we're trying to decide, how does the graph of f compare with the graph of g? Is f less steep? No, because they have the same slope, so they have the same steepness. The graph of f has the same y-intercept. Well, no, we already showed that they don't have the same y-intercept. They have different y-intercepts. The graph of f is parallel. Well, in order to be parallel, that means that you need same slope, and they do have same slope, and this steeper would mean that they have a different slope, and they don't. So here is your answer choice, because the two equations have the same slope. For problem number 4, you have several ways to go about doing this one. You can take the original equation and you can substitute in the x value that they give you. So we set up a skeleton for it. They're saying that x is equal to -3, so right here I would put a -3, type that into the calculator. So what that would look like is alpha y equals, to get my fraction, and I would say -8 over 3, then in parentheses I put -3 and I'd square it, and then I would subtract 16 and I would get -40. So that's one way to use the calculator to get this particular answer. The other way is to go to y equals and type in the equation that we're given. So we have -8 over 3, and remember, use the x key, and then we're going to square that, then subtract 16. From there we're going to go to the table. Remember, that's right above the graph key, so we use the second key to get to the table, and what we are looking for is where x is -3, and here it tells us that then the y1 would be -40. So you could go to y1, type in the equation, and then go to the table, and you're looking for an x value of -3, which would give you -40. Don't forget to fill in your negative signs and color in the appropriate bubbles for 40. and for the negative sign as well. Okay, for number 5, we are supposed to solve this for W. So that means we got to get rid of the 2L first. So we're going to subtract 2L from both sides. P and 2L are not like terms, so all we can do is write down the subtraction. And then we have that equaling 2W. We need to get rid of the 2. Since they're multiplying, we're going to divide. And we divide both sides by 2. Now at this point, you might have 2 options for an answer. P minus 2L over 2 equals W. Or they could have simplified this and said P over 2 minus 2L over 2. And 2L over 2 just simplifies to L. So either of these might be an answer choice that you would have on the STAR test. For number 6, they want to know the rate of change of y with respect to x. So you're looking at change in y over change in x. You could use stat to do this, or you could go ahead and say this is plus 4, plus 2, plus 4, and on the change in x side you have a plus 2, here's a plus 1, here's a plus 2. So we have 4 over 2, 2 over 1, and 4 over 2, all of which simplify to 2. So your slope would be 2, because this is your change in y over change in x. Now, the other thing is that when you look at the answer choices, notice that all of the y-intercepts are different and all of the slopes are different. So you could find your slope, and this is the only one that has the slope that you want. You also could have just looked at the table at the y-intercept here and noticed that it was a positive 3, and there was only one answer choice with a positive 3 as a y-intercept. So you could have used those 2 things to narrow down your choices. For number 7, it says Samuel runs around a 100-meter track. He uses this linear equation to describe how far he runs after he has already jogged 2 laps. So the 2 laps is already included in the equation. Which of the following best describes the slope of the linear equation? They want to find the slope of the linear equation. The linear equation is this. In order to find the slope of this equation, we're going to find the x term, and we're going to look at the coefficient of x. Not the x, the coefficient of x, and it is 6. That means, as a fraction, it would be 6 over 1. Answer choice B is 6 to 1. Which of the following inequalities represents the solution set depicted? Well, first off, we have a positive slope, we have a y-intercept of positive 2, and we are shaded below. So we know we are going to want a less than, because this is a dotted line. And these are all given in standard form, so we would need to solve for y. But if you'll look, you'll notice that all of them have a positive 3 in front of the y. That helps us out because if there's a positive 3 here, when I solve for y, you move the x and change its sign. And then you're going to divide by the number in front of the y. So this one doesn't change the inequality sign. So none of these inequality signs in this case are going to change. So I know I need a less than, so I don't have to worry about B and I don't have to worry about D. My answer is either going to be A or C. In this case, I end up with a negative 2/3 slope. So let's see what happens over here for C. Get rid of those x terms. So I've got 3y is less than 6 plus 2x. Divide everything by 3. 6 over 3 is 2, so that does give me my y-intercept. Same here. But this has a positive slope where this has a negative slope. So the answer choice I need is C. The negative 2x plus 3y is less than 6. Okay, so we're going to stop here. This is the first video for your semester exam review. And we'll come back with a second, third, and fourth video.